Chelsea Football Club is not the transfer window, but we signed Emanuel Emegha. I'm going to tell you what happened. It's a done deal. It's confirmed. He's holding up the top. Furthermore, the truth always surfaces to the top. The reality is people told us we got rejected by Mohamed Kudus because he wanted the project at Spurs. Well, that's a lie. More news has come out now what really happened, how he agreed personal terms with Chelsea and Chelsea rejected him. I'm going to explain. Furthermore, we've got Enzo Maresca previewing Brentford versus Chelsea, and there were three major talking points. Number one, we've got the latest on Cole Palmer and how he's only trained once. What's going to happen with him? Number two, Enzo Maresca believes we only have one number 9. The other one is a 9.5, 10. We're doing this again. We're going to have to talk about why Joao Pedro apparently can't play number 9 after he's been playing there and smashing in goals. And finally, what is going to happen with the midfield? Enzo, Caicedo and Santos are the only options, and two of them have travelled from Brazil and Ecuador. We need to break this down. We need to get into the details. I'll tell you what Enzo Maresca thinks, and more importantly, he came here for my thoughts. We're going to break it down. But before we get started, number one, hit that like button. It's the best way you can support. Number two, go and subscribe to the channel. Do it now. You will forget. And finally, the biggest one of all, right? There's a video at the end where we talk about the charges Chelsea were given. And I break it down into nice little details about my thoughts and why you don't need to panic. And everyone else is trying to fearmonger you and scaremonger you. So you can see that, and I'll link it in at the end of the video and remind you. But let's get it started. So we're sitting here in September. The window is closed and Chelsea Football Club think, bomber time. Time to give everyone a little bit more copium, because that's what we do. Emanuel Emegha is now a Chelsea player. For those of you asking who is he is a Dutch under-21 international. This guy is soon to be at the World Cup. I think he's performing to the level that Holland will call him up. I don't think Holland have got strikers to the level where Emegha's not going to be overlooked, right? Where did we get him from? We got him from Strasbourg. Classic, right? What happened is 2 years ago, he joined Strasbourg. And since he's joined Strasbourg, first year he got 9 goals in 31 games in all competitions. Last year he got a very impressive 14 goals in 29 games. Basically 1 and 2. Back in the day when I was younger, kids, that was amazing. 1 and 2, you are a good striker. You're somebody that is out there performing to a consistent level, and across a season, 38 games, you're going to get me 19 goals, and I'm going to be very grateful for you. And at the end of the day, I am very happy when my strikers do that. I think Haaland, Ronaldo, Messi, they've just skewed what we think is normal, and I don't like it. I really don't. It triggers me because good players all of a sudden start getting treated like bums, and average players start getting treated like trash. So please respect him. This year he's got 3 goals in 4 games. He's ahead of the curve. He's doing what he needs to do. He's got the armband on his left shoulder, and he's absolutely performing well. But what happened? Chelsea have now acquired him. He will join in 2026, the summer. Some people are saying this has got something to do with the charges. This has been going on for ages. We heard that there was a pre-agreement when he signed a new contract, that he was going to join Chelsea. This was heating up. He is very keen to improve at Strasbourg. What needs to happen is he needs to have a brilliant season. And now that will transfer into Chelsea. Why? Because Chelsea at the moment have got Delap, Joao Pedro, and a third striker in Emegha. Emegha is a chaos striker. He is very different to Delap, who's a battering ram, and Joao Pedro, who's a 9.5, according to Enzo Maresca. So for me, this is just the replacement for Nicholas Jackson, and what I think is Chelsea view him as better than Nicholas Jackson in the near future, and they don't want to lose him, so they're giving him the transfer now, and they don't want him to do too well, so the fee gets inflated and fair value doesn't get reached. Fair value is when FIFA look over the transfer between Chelsea and Strasbourg, and they look at the number that Chelsea are willing to pay and say, is it fair value? If Manchester United wanted him, would you be charging the same amount? And at the moment, I think Chelsea are deeming that if we pay now, it's going to be a lot less than when he goes on and scores 20 league goals this year, or whatever he scores in Liga. For me, this is a good deal. I am excited. I think this is someone that can kick on and develop. If he doesn't, they'll just flip him because there'll be a market for him. This summer, Newcastle looked at him, Dortmund looked at him, and we know Everton definitely looked at him. Positive news, deal done, here we go. According to Fabrizio Romano as well, and the website has announced it with him holding the top. We're as good as done. Emegha is Chelsea. Speaking of people that wanted to be Chelsea and couldn't become Chelsea and apparently rejected the Chelsea, Spurs fans need to get out of this bubble, right? They've got this whole fascination that we got rejected by Mohamed Kudus and then they came and dunked on us for Xavi Simons. What happened? Well, the truth has now come out. I told you lot, if Chelsea wanted Kudus, Chelsea would have got Kudus. And people told me, you're deluded, this board is rubbish, they don't know what they're doing, you're a brown envelope. Well, you know what? I'm not a brown envelope, I'm the golden envelope, because I was right and you were wrong. What has happened? The Athletic now has come out and said Chelsea Football Club had agreed personal terms with Mohamed Kudus. The player wanted to join, Chelsea wanted to sign. Chelsea wanted to do it on their terms. Chelsea put in a bid for him, and the bid was £40 million plus Keenan Drewsbury Hall. West Ham said nope, he's worth £85 million. Eventually, Spurs got him for around about 6. Chelsea ended up shifting Keenan Drewsbury Hall for £30 million, plus they went and got a Garnacho and a Gittins, right? So they went a separate direction. They never bid for Kudus after that. They had their valuation of the player and they said, we're not shifting. One thing I am going to credit the club on, clearly this summer, they grew a backbone, all right? What they did this summer was, we have our valuation. If you are willing to sell for our valuation, we'll get the player. If we are not going to agree, broski, we aren't signing. And we saw this with Mike Maignan. We saw this with Xavi Simons, we saw this with Kudus, we saw this with João Pedro, we saw this with Delap as well. There were numbers set, we were not going above that number, this was not going to happen. The only player that they didn't do that with was with Gittins, and that's the only one I would say we were getting told a number that is close to 40 million, somehow they paid 55 because Dortmund valued him as 70. Crazy numbers, it is what it is, it's done. But this summer they had a backbone. The key here is to remember, people are going to say, we should have got Kudus. We shouldn't have. Stop looking short term. In my opinion, Estevao now is better than Mohamed Kudus, and he's better than Neto. He needs a pathway, and by November, we are not going to be talking about Neto. We're going to be talking about Estevao. It is Estevao's position to win. You bring in Kudus on a big fee, Kudus is starting. Politics will mean he starts. And in this case now, people are going to say, yeah, but you could have just sold Neto. No one's buying Neto, and I think we're underestimating how important Neto is to Enzo Maresca. Neto can play on the right and he can play on the left. The key aspect here is, what do you do with Kudus in 12 months time when Kenda comes? We have Kenda come in, we've got Pies come in. I think Chelsea thought long term, and it's for once I am so with them for thinking long term, because I think Estevao is going to make a lot of people eat their words. That's my opinion. In the comments below, do you think they should have got Mohamed Kudus? Do you think we've made a mistake? And do you think Mohamed Kudus has been impressive at Spurs? So Brentford versus Chelsea match preview has to be done, right? And the way I do my match previews is very different. Everyone else covers the game and goes into detail. We don't need to do that, because what ends up happening is I just start repeating myself game from where we. So what I do is I watch the press conference, I talk about the 3 things that I think, or 4 things that I think are going to be important. And in this case, from the press conference, I took 3 things away. The first one is, Enzo Maresca does not look happy about what happened with Jackson, because he says, I wish Jackson the best. He never done anything wrong. He was a very good trainer with me. He's not a Chelsea player anymore. He can move on. And he basically wasn't fully resigned with the fact that, you know what, we're secure in that position, because he went on and spoke about Guiu and said, Guiu's the only number 9 we have. Like, Delap's injured, João Pedro can play there. And the key word there is can play there. I don't like this, because João Pedro's come out and said already, and we've covered it on this channel, that Maresca's told him he's a 9. So one of them's lying, and I know it ain't João Pedro, because there's no need for João Pedro to come out and say that. And secondly, he also reiterated that Tyreek George can be an option there. That I do not like, because you have Maresca, you have David Washington, use them. You do not need to put Tyreek George, who is a kid that is a winger or an inside forward, at the number 9 role. You're wasting him, you're giving him unfair criticism, and he ain't developing there. I don't care what anyone says. So for me, we need to be open and transparent. This is not a good idea. Guiu, if he starts tomorrow, I am going to back him like I am Don CFC. I promise you. That's how I'm going to back this kid, because this kid has got a massive opportunity, and football's all about opportunities. You get given chances when players get injured, and in his case, the lap's hurt, you're back, this is your chance, take it. Speaking of opportunities and travelling and injuries, well, it looks like Chelsea Football Club have got a little bit of a tight decision to make. Chelsea have got 3 players travelling from Brazil international duties, as well as 1 from Ecuador. Caicedo played against Argentina and is travelling back. This time there is no Enzo situation. He was suspended, so he stayed in London, went to Greece, Mykonos, enjoyed himself, moussaka, a little bit of good food, you know, feta cheese, nice salad, souvlaki, gyros. He enjoyed himself, definitely drank some raki most probably, but then eventually came back for a week. Lovely weather in England, you know, it's been raining all week. He's been living Gucci, so he's fit. The problem here is though, we've got 3 Brazilians that are coming back, and it's a long flight back. The flight, I think, is close to 9 hours, if I'm not mistaken. So they are actively going to be in recovery. And Maresca reiterated this. He said, I've got 3 Brazilians that are coming back. I've also got Moi, who I haven't seen. We've got a little bit of an issue here with seeing whether they can play or not. We've got a decision to make. Esugu would have been perfect right now. He's out for 3 months. Romeo Lavia would have been perfect right now. He ain't starting. So now we need to decide, do you risk Andre Santos, who played in La Paz in Bolivia at high altitude, or do you play Moises Caicedo, who's been carrying an injury? Because Enzo starts, but you need someone at the base of that midfield. It is a huge decision to make. We've got Bayern a few days later, and hopefully Romeo's going to be ready for Bayern. But it is what it is. We need to make a decision. Our other decision that we need to make is between Joao Pedro and Estevão, because a lot of people are going to say, what's the decision? They need to play. Joao Pedro played a lot of minutes recently. So has Estevão. You need to manage people's minutes. I think Garnacho or Gittins need to start on the left. Pedro Neto will start on the right. And for me, Joao Pedro goes in the 9 and Estevão in the 10. The problem is, I don't see that happen. And for me, it's frustrating because I don't know what's going on here. And we will find out. We need to manage the squad. It's up to Maresca to decide. I don't know what the solution is. In the comments, tell me what your solution is. Because Cole Palmer today trained for the first time, according to Enzo Maresca. He said he's trained only for the first time. It wasn't the full session. We will see how he feels closer to the game. We've got another training session before that, and then we'll make our decision. Do not play him. If we do not have enough in the tank to beat Brentford without Cole Palmer, we failed. Do not play him. We've got Bayern Munich on Wednesday. After Bayern Munich, we got Manchester United. You need Cole Palmer for those games. Brentford away, Brentford with a new manager, Brentford with a lot of players in turnover. We need, in my opinion, a team that can go out there, do the job, do the ugly stuff well. Do not risk Cole. We will need Cole in this busy run. Losing Cole for 1 game is not as bad as losing Cole for another 5-6, especially when Delap's hurt, especially when you've got Noah Sugu, especially when Lavi is gone. Don't create further problems. It's the same with Reece James. I don't want to see Reece James. Reece needs to be rested for Bayern Munich. That's my personal opinion. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, let me know your thoughts, and here I've got a banging video for you, genuine. I talk about the charges that were given to Chelsea. Do not be scared. It explains everything and identifies that you do not need to panic. Go check it out. Let me know your thoughts. Peace out. I'm out. Bye.